So we have some breaking news to get into here in this video. Things are getting a little crazy out there on Wall Street, okay? AMC stock is green today. What in the world is going on? AMC stock is up almost 0.5%, whereas the NASDAQ, as I'm currently looking at it, is down almost 2%, 1.95%. The S&P is down 1.11%. Google is down over 9% today. Yeah, this is not looking also great. We are going to be getting some news coming out here shortly with this Israel-Middle East conflict, and we did get some breaking news today in regards to that as well, which sounds a little good, but when you actually read into it, it doesn't actually sound that good. So we got that to cover. We have a lot to get into. We're going to get into everything you need to know about AMC stock as well here on the day today. First thing I want to preference this video with saying is AMC stock is green. Even if it's not super green, AMC stock is green when the NASDAQ is down 2%. If you do not think a rally is coming, I mean, I don't know what else is going to change your mind besides that simple fact. That is very impressive. So let's go ahead and get into it. The work is cut out for us here in this video. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and source your comments, questions, or concerns down below in the comment section, guys. So first things first, the first thing I want to start with is some of this breaking news here today. This is or had a positive effect on the markets, at least initially. So it says both U.S. and Israeli officials have now confirmed that Prime Minister Netanyahu has agreed to delay the invasion of the Gaza Strip until the U.S. military is able to move more assets into the region, including at least 12 air defense systems for the interception of cruise and ballistic missiles, as well as rockets and drones, which are set to be spread across multiple countries in the Middle East, including Bahrain, Iraq, Kuwait, Saudi Arabia, Qatar, and the UAE. So that sounds good. That first initial headline, and when it came out across the wire, it read, U.S. and Israel have delayed the invasion of the Gaza Strip. And then the second headline said to move more missiles and weapon defense systems into the region. And that's where you kind of got over the bullish rally off of that pretty quickly upon that second statement. So that did not help our markets here today. Now, a couple other things that are also having an effect, but since we're on this conflict, let's go ahead and give you guys all of the news. Now, some of the news that we're going to get is, who knows? Who knows what this news is going to be? OSNT Defender is reporting that Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu will reportedly deliver a statement tonight in Tel Aviv. And we're seeing rumors that there was an elimination of a high-ranking military official of Hamas who was eliminated today by an airstrike in the Gaza Strip. We'll see what that ultimately leads to. OSNT Defender also says something significant appears to be ongoing tonight in Israel. Prime Minister Netanyahu is set to make a statement sometime in the coming minutes. And following that, the spokesman for the Israeli Defense Force will also make a statement. Both of these statements will likely be in some way linked to the order released earlier by the IDF Homefront Command for residents near the Gaza Strip. What they said earlier was this: IDF Homefront Command has just released an order for all residents who have not evacuated and are still near the Gaza Strip to remain near bomb shelters until further notice. So maybe this delay of this invasion, well, is old news. Maybe that's what is happening here, right? Maybe that's just old news, because it's been what, more than 2 weeks now since that conflict started. It started on I believe it was October 7th. So it's been some time. Okay, maybe it was just delayed to get these systems over there, and now they might be making that announcement that they're going to incur into the Gaza Strip. That's something I've made a point of keeping you guys informed about is this whole situation going on in the Middle East. Last time we saw a major conflict like this, specifically with Israel, the Yom Kippur War, that was only like a 30-some day war, and Palestine did not do so well. But long story short, it was like a 20% plus pullback for our markets. Today, that could be a lot worse because we have implications involved. There's implications for oil as well. So this could be a big negative catalyst for our markets. Again, I don't know what's going to be said. Maybe they do announce some kind of ceasefire. That's your optimist coming out of me speaking. Or maybe they do go ahead and confirm the, ground invasion is going to start within the next 12 hours or so. A lot of the time that's how these things go. They don't just go straight into the country without any warning. They usually do give a set deadlines to tell basically the citizens, like, hey, you need to get out of there ASAP. This news did just come out as well 3 minutes ago. The statement by Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu and the IDF spokesman has been delayed by 1 hour until 8:45 p.m. Right now, it is 7:52 p.m. over there in Israel. So just to give you guys a little bit of a time preference or reference, it is, turning over to nighttime over there. So who knows what is going to be said in this statement. It does have big implications for our markets, and the markets will react to it. So that's a little bit of breaking news. Now, you also had Google earnings that came out. Google earnings were actually pretty dang good. You really can't complain all too much with Google earnings themselves. Year over year, revenue growth, 11%. Cloud services, almost 11%. Operating income up 24.6%. EPS up 46.2%. Free cash flow up 40.6%. But yet, Google stock is down about 9%. This is having a dramatic effect today on our markets. We are also going to get a speech from Fed Jerome Powell after the bell today at 4:35 p.m. Now, you do have some earnings today and after hours as well. Meta, IBM, and ServiceNow are really the big three that markets will be watching. You also have smaller earnings from O'Reilly's, Edwards, QuantumScape, KLA, and Align. But these three are going to be the bigger ones. I do have trades on ServiceNow. So if you guys want to come see those trades, come get access to all of the trades that I make. Every time I make them, I send out alerts. Link down below in the description of this video. But I mean, Meta heading into earnings is down 3%. So that gives you a little bit of a cushion heading into tomorrow. But I think the markets are mostly going to react to whatever this statement is from Israel, whether it's good or bad. Hopefully good, but if it's bad, then that is really when you start the stop clock of this escalation, right? That's when the situation escalates, is when Israel does ultimately make their way into the Gaza Strip. That's when the 10, 15, 20, 30, 40% downside could come basically at any time. And that would be some form of involvement with, Iran, the US, implications for oil and economic activity as well. Now, today you are getting some interesting moves as well. Like I said, the NASDAQ is down 2%. TLT is down 2.12%. There is absolutely no flight to safety here in the bonds today. You are getting absolutely wrecked in terms of bonds, and yields are going higher. So on top of everything else that are going on, out there in the world, like Alphabet having bad earnings, these things are not helping the markets right now. The 30-year Treasury yield is up 10.5 basis points. The 10-year Treasury is up 9.1 basis points. That's a lot. So during times like this one, where Treasury yields are, going higher by almost 10 basis points on a day, it's not going to be positive for the markets. And even then, when you take all of these things into consideration, it's miraculous how AMC stock is positive on the day. That's insane. But if we take a look at USO, that is up 1% today, likely because of this Israel conflict. Again, it does have big implications for oil. If there were to be a broader Middle East conflict, then oil's probably going to go higher. DXY, the ETF that tracks the dollar, that is up almost 1% today. The dollar affects company earnings, right? This has been a big story throughout Q3. If you see a, you know, Fed raising rates, or you see even conflicts anywhere, really, people do rush to the dollar. So the dollar is some form of a safety net, if you will. It's not like a gold. Gold is like your ultimate safety. Bonds are usually a big form of safety as well, but the dollar is definitely one of them. And if you're a multinational, like an Apple, like a Tesla, like some multinational companies, when the dollar goes up and you're converting your currency on a day by day or week by week basis, that is not good for your conversion, right? That puts downside pressure on your margins, downside pressure on your just overall revenue, right? If you were to make $20 billion, but the dollar went up 25% in a quarter, maybe you really only bring home 15 to 17 million because your conversion ratio just screwed you if all of your money in theory was done in foreign currency. So that's how big of a problem that really is. So not great what's happening today there. The gold GLD is up 0.27%. You're really at a moment where gold could break out big to the upside. If you do get bad news, especially in this Middle East conflict, you could see gold easily come up here and break above 190. That would push you well above 2,000 an ounce for gold, and that would obviously not be great. Now, when you get a lot of fear, or really when stocks sell off, when markets crash, gold tends to crash as well. So it's more of a fear asset before the crash actually happens. So if we do get a crash, gold's probably going to go down as well. So just be a little bit weary of that if you guys are looking at gold as kind of a hedge in your portfolio for this period of time that we're in right now. Look at the Rona period. Gold went up initially and then it went straight back down. TLT tends to be a better hedge when, Dookie actually hits the fan, like you can see back here during COVID. I mean, bonds went up and they stayed up for a while. So I do like bonds here as a hedge. It could actually force the Fed to cut rates if, the situation got too bad and stocks sold off and, rates just started coming down naturally on the yield curve. That would have obviously not be the greatest thing that the Fed would want to see. But hey, they would have to react to that. Pretty much they would have to react to that. Now, if you take a look at the option activity here today for AMC stock, you have seen one order totaling about $17,000 with a positive order value of 100%. I don't even really care about the daily, option activity. I'm looking at the put to call ratio right now. Put to call ratio has went from 1.8 down to 0.72. AMC is more bullish than any stock you can basically pull up on a put to call ratio. That is very interesting. Like literally more bullish than Apple, Microsoft, Google, Amazon, Tesla, Nvidia. Pound for pound, AMC has some of the most bullish option chains you have seen ever, really, in my investing lifetime so far, which is a decent amount of time. 5+ years. I've never seen an option chain look this bullish. Maybe besides what you had during 2021 with the first rally of AMC and things like that. But it's been a very long time since we have seen something this bullish. Now, again, AMC stock is down about 1%. We do have a bad bond auction that is coming out right now. 5-year notes draw 4.89% versus 4.88% when issued yield begun, basically when the auction started. So yields did go up a little bit, not a terrible big deal. It's not like the bond auction we've seen recently, but yeah, it's taking another hit to our markets, as you guys can see right here. NASDAQ is now down 2.10%, 2.10% at the time of recording this video. And again, AMC stock is flat on the day at $9.33. You're finding a lot of resistance around this 8-day moving average yet again. You really want to break above that. Once you break above that, then you're looking at about $12 per share. Probably the stocks are not going to do well here, so it's possible that you do fall back down to this downtrending line of support, which is down here at about $8 per share. That's kind of my expectation right now. If things especially do get bad out there in the world, especially with this Middle East conflict, we're going to have to see. I think the markets right now have a lot of nerves heading into this statement because we just don't know if there's going to be a continued delay. If that announcement was the delay is like coming to pass, maybe they're going to announce the actual invasion now. Who knows? Who knows, right? And I keep going back to that because I think the markets are hyper focused on it today. You are pricing in a certain degree of bad news today. So if it's not as bad as maybe what we're fearing, that could obviously be good for stocks. And as you guys can see, NASDAQ down 2.17%, flushing into the lows. You're coming to a very critical level here on the NASDAQ as well. If you break under this line, that's not going to be great. And this line is right down here. So I expect a bounce here at this level. I'm sure we'll get one. If we don't, if we kind of make the same trend into the end of the day, you're going to break under that line. And that's just not going to be great for where we go from here. If I mean, you break under this downtrending line, you're setting yourself up for at least a test of that 200-day moving average down here at $337.84 per share, if not potentially even lower than that. So we're at a very precarious time here in the markets. All I could say is AMC stock is very bullish, very, very bullish. The RSI at 42.90 and the MACD is sitting here slightly in negative territory. Not a huge deal. Again, if we can manage to go higher like we were at one point today, then the MACD breaking into a positive range is probably going to give you a lot more upside in the stock. But again, I wouldn't bag on that right now. I think we have to get through this last, period of fear, this last kind of crash event, get your big tech stocks to fall, in which you're kind of seeing here with earnings season. If you look at an equal weighted index is doing a lot better than the NASDAQ or the S&P here today. That's because your big tech stocks are falling. Google down 9% helps reset our markets, get us ultimately closer to the bottom and the low, in which you can start to get an actual recovery of everything, right? Stocks have not done well in 2023. Big tech stocks have, your Magnificent 7 or the top 10 biggest stocks in our markets have, but the average stock is down pretty big for 2023. So this could be exactly what you need to get that last flush out and then ultimately get the rip from there, guys. So there you have it. Let's go ahead and look at the Stocko tracker data as well. Let's go ahead and refresh this. You got about 11,594 calls in the money, 68,561 calls out the money, 7,700 puts in the money, and 33,000 puts that are out of the money. So again, that almost 2-to-1 ratio here for calls compared to puts. One of the most bullish option chains that you will find out there for any stock, let alone AMC. It's been a very long time since we have seen anything this bullish on AMC. And I think a big rally is coming, and it's really just a matter of time at this point. Let me know when you think the rally is coming for AMC stock. What is coming next for our markets? Down below in the comment section. Hit the like button, as well as subscribe to the channel if you have not done so already and you made it to the end of this video. Most importantly, enjoy the rest of your day, and I will see you in the next one.